Hello, I'm Doug McGlynn, and today we'd like to overview some of the customer service initiatives that we're developing and how to deliver and better deliver our service to our patients, to our customers, and also to ourselves. When you think of it, it really boils down to just two things. They're the building blocks of what we already know is good in delivering the service, and that stems from one, having a caring perspective, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, and doing it from the position of a servant's heart, doing it from the passionate pursuit of being a public servant and what it means to actually deliver those services. And if we could tie that in to the golden rule, which is do unto others as we wish them to do unto us, or just taking care of others like we would want our own mom and dad or brother or family member to be taken care of, really that, if we can capture that, then we're off to a great start. However, firefighters, we need tools to deliver those services. We're very accustomed to using tools, and that's what we're focusing on here today. We've developed several tools that are innovative and very creative in their design, and they allow us to deliver those services and tie into those two things. Having a caring perspective, going above and beyond in a personal and a wow type of a way, and doing it in a way that passionately pursues having the servant's heart. Here we are on scene of an emergency medical call where the crews are tending to the needs of Mrs. Smith. Mrs. Smith is experiencing a medical situation. They are assessing them, and they're getting ready to package and transport Mrs. Smith to Golden Memorial Hospital.
Where are you taking my wife? We just moved in here. I don't have any idea where anything.
This is a common scenario where we typically tell or instruct or direct Mr. Smith not to follow too closely behind the rescue. Sometimes we'll paint on a napkin, make a left and a right, and hopefully Mr. Smith eventually gets to the hospital. What we're trying to do here is capitalize on the personal touch. So what we've developed is these area hospital maps, and each area of the county has these maps. They're located on our intranet, and the crews are just instructed to just keep a fresh supply, 2 or 3 of these maps inside their clipboard, so that they can retrieve those and hand them out to Mr. Smith. So as you can see here, the captain is talking to Mr. Smith. They're getting the area hospital map. He can draw on the outside because there's an area that you can draw from the house to the main road. It also ties in nicely into a nice segue into the next customer service tool that we'll later use when we're on scene of the hospital itself.
I just put Miss Smith in room 3. Okay. She's complaining of dizziness, not feeling well for a little while. She has a little bit of a medical history, high blood pressure.
Now the crews are arriving at the hospital. There is a lot of things to do. We need to properly transfer the custody and the chain of care over to the emergency room staff. There's reports that need to be updated, any EKGs or any of that sort of thing. So there's a lot of technical responsibilities for the call, and you can see that the crews are doing this.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
How you doing? We just took Mrs. Smith in the back, okay? She's in emergency room number 3. The ER nurses and doctors are looking at her.
So as you can see, the lieutenant here is making their way out to the waiting room. They're introducing themselves to Mr. Smith. He gets on their level. He speaks in a calm voice, and he's giving what's called the customer care card. The customer care card is nothing more than just a baseball card with a picture of our trucks on one side. And on the reverse side, it's got a room for the date, the incident number. It's got an area where the crews can put their crew information. It also has their contact number, their station number, and then the phone number for dispatch in case they wanted to get a copy of the incident report.
Okay. I wish you the very best.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Good luck to you.
Thank you so much
You're welcome.
for your help.
That was very nice.
Thank you. They do a great job.
You sure do.
You could see the impact that it's making on Mr. Smith right as he sits in the seat in the waiting room.
Make sure you fill out a get well card for Smith, okay?
I'm already on account.
This next phase of this emergency incident, even though the actual emergency call is now concluded, the crews are now arriving back at the station. And obviously the captain is reminding the crew, don't forget to fill out a Get Well card, which is the next tool that I'd like to focus on and talk about. The Get Well card is something that's we're no stranger to. It's been around in our organization for many years. Now we have a very versatile, newly revised card. It could be used for Get Well, it could be used for sympathy, it could be used for all different purposes. But the beauty is they're always in stock, they're at the battalion levels, and they're now being stocked in all of our firehouses.
That's right, Chief. I'm Lieutenant Juan Saavedra with Palm Beach County Fire Rescue, been with us for over 11 years. Chief spoke about all the different tools that we now have, including the thank you card, and I believe they're very important not only for our crews, but as well for the patient, something that they receive, something that's very tangible. Enough about me, you're gonna hear from Jennifer, someone who received a Get Well card over 8 years ago, and you can tell how deeply it impacted her.
And it just was that extra step to say, hey, we hope you're feeling better. You really want to see you better, not just, okay, we made your call and we're on to the next person. Sometimes you need that little thank you, that extra touch, because you don't get that all the time. And I think people want to hear about that because you guys do your jobs and everybody does their jobs and just goes on and on and on and their daily thing, but nobody ever says thank you. Or, hey, we're thinking about you, we want you to get better, and you reciprocate the opposite. Say, oh, you really made a difference because of who you are. It came from the heart more than just a job.
Thank you, Jennifer. As you can all see, what a huge impact this had on her. This is something that she's obviously kept very close to her. She's had with her for over 8 years. It is on us now, guys, as the new leaders of this department, to carry this new program on, to keep it moving forward, to understand what a great program it is, what great tools we have in front of us, and how it obviously impacts those patients. If we keep treating these patients as one of our own loved ones, I don't think that it'll be anything but successful. Thank you so much.
So the Get Well card is simply, you would write Get Well, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, pleasure serving you. You could put the crew names in there, and then that gets stamped with the address of the firehouse and gets placed in the outgoing mailbox. This is a way that it will go to Fire Rescue Headquarters, receive the appropriate postage, and then eventually end up at the Smith's house. As you can see here in the scenario, the Get Well card does arrive at Mr. and Mrs. Smith's home. You could see Mrs. Smith here going to the mailbox, and the beauty is it's arriving before the first bill even arrives.
Through all the mail, and there's an envelope here from Palm Beach County Fire Rescue. I wonder what's inside here. You're not going to believe this. It's a card from Palm Beach County Fire Rescue talking about the emergency care that you got last week, and it's a thank you card, and it's telling you they hope you are getting better and that you're well on your way to recovery.
I think it's wonderful that the first thing we opened up was not a bill from the hospital, but a beautiful card just to ensure.
As you can see here, Mr. and Mrs. Smith are sitting around the desk. They're reminiscing the event. So if we can add some personal touches to make that in a way that's better off than how we found them, then that's something that we'll do. The Get Well card helps us do that. This next customer service tool that we'd like to review is something that came right out of the heart and mind of a fire captain, John Garrow, in Battalion 4. One of the things that we're very good about doing in fire rescue is embracing this team concept. So it's not any one individual. There's always a team of people that are behind these projects. However, it always takes one leader to step out, to be empowered to see a need, identify it, meet that need, and then take action on it. That's exactly what Captain Garrow did with this next tool, the Customer Service Door Hanger. Really, it's designed for this call. As you can see, engine and crews from Station 42 are responding to a very common alarm, the medical alarm. And oftentimes these medical alarms are false alarms, so we need to make contact with the interior occupants or patients, and we don't just knock on the door and wait a few minutes and then leave. So this medical alarm, obviously no one's answering the door. Oftentimes we're giving a lockbox code or a key code. In this case, we have that information. It's provided by dispatch, and fire rescue crews are able to obtain entry to the interior space. Even without that, sometimes they have to force entry. And again, find the place empty. They're looking in each room, the place is empty. It's assumed to be a false alarm. What they do is they resecure the home as they would with any other means of entry. And before they shut all the lights and resecure and lock the doors, they're filling out this customer service door hanger that is designed specifically for this reason. And it's basically, sorry we missed you, this is what happened, it was a medical alarm, here's the crews that were here, and they hang it on the door hanger.
Boy, what is this here, Katie?
I don't know, let's take a
Here, let's take a look.
Oh, what's that?
This is from, sorry we missed you, from Station 42, Engine Rescue 42.
Oh, from the Palm Beach County Fire Rescue. Medical alarm, fire alarm, welfare check. Made entry with lockbox. Key found, no one was at home.
Let's go inside and see what's going on here.
Okay.
Yes, ABC Alarm, I just had the fire rescue here, truck 42, they left a notice on my door. Yes, I'm very happy they left that on our door, this way otherwise we wouldn't have known. It's most appreciated, thank you.
We're really proud to put these tools and initiatives into the hands of firefighters, whether they're doing these services on EMS calls or the structure fire calls with our After the Fire program. It really boils down to those foundational two components that we spoke about earlier in the video. We spoke about having that caring perspective, but it's not enough to care. We need to take action with that in the pursuit of service. And doing that from a servant's perspective and in a caring way not only has a personal and impactful touch on the lives of those that we serve, but it delivers it in a wow factor that sets Palm Beach County Fire Rescue apart from the rest. My name is Doug McGlynn, and thank you.